Hey, it's Tara, and it's right before Christmas. It's 2 days before Christmas while I'm recording this. And as I've talked to people over the last few weeks, as we're all reflecting on the year and wrapping up, a lot of people are commenting on what a rough year it's been for them. And it's true that a lot of things have happened, a lot of events have happened in the world that make this seem like it's particularly intense. And really, proportionately, it probably isn't any different than the tragedies that happened the year before. And we're all vulnerable to vicarious trauma and the impacts of bad events and terrible things happening in the world, even if it's not actually directly affecting us. And so that combined with normal life events that are disappointing or hurtful or pain or grief or loss that we've suffered make it seem like it's been a really rough year. And in fact, we also have negativity bias in our brain, which gravitates to negative information. And so what we know scientifically is that our brains retain negative information and hold on to it longer than it does positive information and events. And so that's why they say that gratitude practices are so important and so effective, because it starts to help balance the bias of your own brain. And so that's one of the cues for this holiday season, to try and find a way to enjoy it and get through it and recontextualize your frame of reference for what this year has been. To have a gratitude practice where you specifically and intentionally go back through the year and mark all of the good things that have happened and really remember them in detail, that where you were, how it felt, sights, sounds, smells, engage all your senses in those memories. And notice what happens in your body, because your body will relax, or it'll feel excited again, or whatever it is, you will release all these positive chemicals into your brain, and you will feel better, and it will start to balance out the negativity of the things that have happened this year. So that's one thing that you can do, because we all need to do this on a regular basis, is really work against how our brain is set up for survival and remind it that there are ways that we have indeed survived and thrived through this year. The second thing, though, is we've lost touch of what a rough year really is. And year by year, because of so much that's going on in life and how quickly stuff comes at us, our resiliency really is diminishing. So that what is now just normal life, what has always been normal life, is categorized as a rough year, as if we have an expectation that bad things aren't going to happen, that we're never going to feel sad or lonely or in pain, that breakups and divorces and death is not going to happen. So we call those things a rough year, and that's a normal year. That's normal life, and we have become so hypersensitive that those normal life events are things that we're really societally having trouble rallying back from, and they're impacting us for longer and deeper than maybe they need to. So sure, you are supposed to feel devastated when someone close to you dies, when a relationship ends, when there's a divorce. Those things, just because they're common doesn't mean they're not painful and traumatic, and they are. However, you really want to monitor your ability to come out of those saturated moments of emotion, and you should have those saturated moments of emotion and be able to tolerate them. That's the key. You should also be able to come out of them. And if you're not, then that's a symptom of diminished resiliency that you can do something about with the right kind of therapy and with the right kind of mindset. So it really helps to be able to look at the things that have happened in your life and say, was this life and death? Was this really a rough year? Was this the worst year I've ever had? Or really was this just a year full of normal life ups and downs that I'm feeling the impact of and framing the whole year as being this way? It's something that we really start to need to pay attention to, because as our resiliency diminishes, we're having more trouble recovering from normal life's ups and downs. So we're not feeling the highs in the same way, but we're feeling the lows in a much longer and more dramatic way. So these are symptoms that you need to do some work on your own brain. So self-regulation therapy is one thing that can really help you create new neural pathways in your brain, so this is easier for you. But there's so much that you can do to give yourself the chemicals that you need and to help rewire your nervous system from top to bottom or from the brain, from the bottom of the brain up. And so I would encourage you to have a gratitude practice every day. Look at the things that are going well in your life. Get out there and move your body and exercise. Learn how to breathe well. Adopt meditation or mindfulness practices. Learn how to be in the moment, but learn how to get excited about the future again. If you are alive, and if you're watching this, you are, this has been a good year. So let's count survival as a success. Let's redefine what success really means. So you survived and you're alive. Look at the next most important indicator of happiness in your life. What are the quality of your relationships? What's your primary romantic relationship like? How healthy is it? How vibrant is it? How much are you putting into it and how much are you getting back from it? Look at your friendships and the influences that you have around you and start looking at where things are positive or negative and where you need to rebalance things. If your relationships are a mess, but you're making a lot of money, great for your financial success. But scientific studies show us that the quality of your life and your happiness and long-term health and resilience come from loving people well, being loved, being in good, positive relationships. Having a resilient mind includes the ability to choose positive influence in your life, the ability to focus on positive events of your life, and the ability to know the difference between what is tragedy and what is just real life, what is change and novelty, and what is true threat. And if you've lost the ability to do that, you're in good company. So many people are, but there's ways to get that back on track, and that needs to be one of your 2018 goals to really increase the resiliency of your nervous system and your ability to experience joy and notice what success really means and set goals for what real success really means in your life. So chew on this for a little bit, because everybody's saying it's a rough year. Has it really been a rough year? And for some of you, it really has. And so I want to make sure that you get the support that you need to get through a year that has been full of loss or tragedy or horror. And those times happen. If you're here, those times will pass, I promise you. If those big, true tragedies have not happened in your life, this has been a good year. So start calling it a good year, because language matters. Pay attention to how you talk about the year that you have just survived, and talk about, even more important, how you're going to nourish your relationships, how you're going to nourish your mind, and how you're going to make this next year something that is marked way more easily as a positive year and something else that you can say you thrived through. That's my end of the year message for all of you. I hope this has been a good year, a really good year, and I really want you to have intention of having the next best year possible, with the goals that you set, the actions you take, and how you nourish the health of your mind and your body. So until next time, I say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I hope you're well.